Hi there, and welcome to another weekly update. Hope it's been a good week for you, and got lots done and all that sort of stuff. There's been some interesting things going on in the world of Skype for Business and Teams. So let's get into it. So first thing on my list is the Microsoft Teams PowerShell gallery. So what's this about? Well, it's a properly kind of put out by it's on PowershellGallery.com, and it's a bunch of Teams commandlet modules, so for use with PowerShell to enable you to do things with Microsoft Teams. So what sort of things, I hear you ask? Well, I'm not going to read out all the commandlets, but there's some it's a lot of IT pro stuff really. So things like add team user, get team channel, there's some set team settings, set team, disconnect, remove teams, remove team channels, remove team users. So lots of kind of admin type functionality. So that's good because I know that's being asked for. People have been asked for, the ability to control teams and control behavior of teams using things like PowerShell and using that kind of functionality. So it's good to see that is coming. One of the things I've just noticed on here actually, there's a set teams fun setting. So I'm just going to open that actually. This is fairly bad video, me kind of doing some R&D kind of live on the video, but I was curious to know what set team fun is, and I can see no information. All right, so annoyingly there's not really any good documentation with these PowerShell commandlets, so it might be that there's some documentation in the PowerShell themselves, so it's worth kind of digging in. Maybe I'll do that this week if I get time, try and dig in and find out what fun settings are for Teams. If anyone knows, let me know. It sounds like a good thing to have turned on, but that's just me. Alright, so next up, and from one extreme to the other, I guess, from kind of it's dropping real kind of deep dive down into the weeds stuff, and that's with a blog post put out on Tech Community, Microsoft Tech Community, and put out by someone from Microsoft actually, and it's about authentication and single sign-on and authentication flow using Teams and Microsoft Graph, and the specific use case is tabs in Teams. So if you're building tabs for Teams and you're accessing graph data and you want to understand a bit more about the authentication flow, how single sign-on works, what you should do, then this is definitely a blog post for you, because there's a cool, like a full-on end-to-end tutorial here, exactly how to do it, what to register where in Azure, what to do what, and then some code samples. And one of the reasons I really like these blog posts that get put out by Microsoft is they've got little bits of information in them that are really useful. So right at the top here we've got like a first things first section, and in it the author Adrian says, don't rely on information from tab context to establish the user's identity, whether you get it as URL parameters or by calling the get context. So and the reason being, a malicious actor could invoke your tab content URL. So there's good insight there from the team around, like, yes, this looks like it might be an easy win, but actually the reason you shouldn't do this is because of this. And that's good. That's the kind of insight you get from people who wrote this stuff, who really understand this world. And that's really, really useful stuff. As a developer, it's really useful to know those kind of gotchas and where those kind of they kind of look enticing, but they're kind of little bear traps of functionality that they look like the right thing to do, but actually they're going to kind of cause a whole world of hurt down the line. So it's good to have those pointed out. So full marks. That's great blog post. Love it. It's really good to see that out there. All right, so brings me on to another blog post, this time done in the community, and that is really using some of those kind of PowerShell commandlets that I just talked about, and how to use those to programmatically enable Teams on an existing Office 365 group. and doing that via graph. And that's good because that's the thing people have been asking for as well. They have existing groups and they want to make them work with teams. And it's really cool that there's a fun way you can do that using these PowerShell templates. And the author here, Mikael Svensson, has gone into a really good level of detail on how to do that. There's kind of fiddler trace stuff in there as well, and so that's really good to see as well. So that's kind of interesting. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was just kind of I guess it's a little bit off topic, but it's about AI, and it's about how AI is kind of starting to impact lots of different things that we do. And it's around the news that Microsoft are bringing some functionality into Word that is to do with their LinkedIn acquisition, and they're going to use AI and cognitive services combined with the data that they have from LinkedIn to help you write better resumes, or CVs as we call them in the UK. And that's kind of interesting. I think the idea is you're going to be in Word, and there's a thing called Resume Assistant. So it's going to be a feature in Word. I imagine it's like I haven't looked at this yet, I haven't had time. It looks exactly like an add-on 365 add-in to me. And so the idea is you kind of ping this and it will look at what you've written, and it will say, well, actually, like, depending on the job you're going for, other people have said this, you might want to consider this. I see it being cool for, everyone else in the jobs that you're going for. All the other people going for jobs have this type of training, so maybe you want to consider that type of training, or people are looking for this. And on the face of it, I think it's a good thing, and it's a good use of AI, and it's exciting and it's interesting. I think there's a bit of me that worries slightly that everybody's resume is going to end up looking the same, and because it's kind of like a bit of an echo chamber. It's like a bit of a feedback loop, right, where you're taking the LinkedIn data about what people already have, and you're kind of melding your CV or your resume to be like those other people. So are we going to end up with everybody's CV? I keep saying CV, sorry, everybody's resume looking like 3 or 4 key industry leaders? It'll just look like their experience list on LinkedIn. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how it plays out. It'd be interesting to see how the AI works and the kind of decisions it makes and the kind of things it'll be interesting to see whether it's really just glorified search or whether there's real deep kind of AI stuff going on in there. It'd be interesting to see. But on the face of it, it's a good story. It's a good news story. It's good for AI. We're starting to see now real world applications of AI, and that's pretty cool and that's pretty interesting. So I'm all up for that. All right, so that's all I want to talk about this week. Just those kind of those blog posts and those things happening. So have a really good next week, and hope you get lots done, and speak to you again next week.